Welcome to Quarantine Quiet Time. Today's passage is Mark 11:24-25, which says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also, who is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses." Now, before I talk about what it means, I want to talk about what it doesn't mean. This is not talking about the health and wealth gospel or name it and claim it. It also isn't talking about possibly losing one's salvation owing to a lack of forgiveness. Now, if you have questions about these things, please ask, especially somebody else, like Hannah or Ryan. Moving on to what it does mean, at least the first verse, this is talking about God's incredible faithfulness. When God makes a promise, say, to give the Holy Spirit to those who ask for good things, or to provide us with all spiritual blessings in the heavenly realms, when one asks, one can certainly believe one has already received it. In fact, part of faith is believing God's promises, including God's promises to bless us in certain ways. Now, one example of believing God's promises is a guy named Peter. Peter was told by God to come, which in this context means come to me across a sea that is full of waves, driven by a relatively strong wind. Peter believes he has received already the ability to walk on water, and so he steps out of the boat and starts walking towards Jesus. To set up another example, some of you might be following Yosef in the wild. If you're not, I highly recommend it. And if you are, I still recommend it. They're going through the Hall of Faith, and one of the people in the Hall of Faith is Samuel. Samuel believed that he had received from God the ability to call down thunder and rain when he called upon God. He proved it by basically saying exactly that in front of a large crowd of people, that he would call down thunder and rain from God. And it happened. And everybody, probably except for Samuel, was terrified. Now, if you're like me, walking on water or calling down thunder and rain, these seem like big things. Difficult things. And frankly, at least for me, being faithful is, well, difficult. Another thing that is difficult is forgiveness. Looking, though, at the second part of our passage, it seems as if the amount of forgiveness that the Father will give me is somehow correlated to how I forgive others. And since I need all the forgiveness and mercy I can possibly get, I need to forgive others. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means I can't harbor bitterness, resentment, or malice in my heart towards them, and it also means I can't take vengeance upon them. Even if I need to forgive somebody else 490 times, really that means an infinite number of times, I'm still called to do it. Now, before I say much more, please let me say I have not arrived. I have a long ways to go with faithfulness and forgiveness. But even as someone who has a long way to go, please let me exhort you to greater faithfulness and greater forgiveness. In any case, that's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning in to Quarantine Quiet Time, and may God bless.